So I'm going to dig into this a little bit. I was kind of saving this for later, but now's the right time. The other day when we were talking and you said, well, everybody knows that a subjective interview and reference checks is the worst way to determine if someone is actually qualified for a job. And I said, well, secretly thinking to myself, oh, hell, that's exactly the way I and many other VCs do it. So let's talk about that a little bit more. Just in general about the notion of why that's worst, and a little bit more about some of the things that we should incorporate into that decision process.
Yeah, there's some research on this that, things like general aptitude tests are actually better predictors of job performance. This is different than a startup, of course, but when you're talking about hiring people for job performance, aptitude tests tend to be better predictors, and especially aptitude tests that may be geared specifically for that kind of job, right? Like if you're the aptitude test for an accountant versus, a warehouse worker versus an engineer, those may be very different aptitude tests. But still, structured tests like that seem to be better predictors of future performance. Structured interviews seem to be better, good predictors of future performance. That is, you're asking a series of questions and the interviewer can grade individual responses.
Yeah, there actually is a right answer.
Yeah, they can say, how quickly did the person respond to this question? What is their posture, et cetera, when they respond to this question? So you're actually recording very specific details, and you're not relying on the memory of the researcher or the researcher's own unstructured note-taking capabilities, right? Or the interviewer's own unstructured note-taking capabilities to make the decisions. The fact is, those free-form kinds of interviews that people tend to have, those are more easily influenced by a wide variety of external factors that have nothing to do with your decision. Did you have your coffee yet? How long was your commute? Did you get a good night's sleep? These are things that actually affect decision making much more than I think a lot of decision makers would be willing to accept. So your risk aversion and your level of optimism and your ability to estimate things actually changes daily for reasons you're not consciously aware of. And so these are some sources of noise in the decision-making process that VCs need to be aware of. That sometimes you made the decision you made because for reasons you're not aware of, you were just more risk averse on Tuesday morning than you were Thursday afternoon. And that's it.
Sure.
So the fact is we have to be aware of the sorts of things that inadvertently influence our estimates and decisions. And when we start to control for those factors, and there are ways to control for them, then our decisions improve.
Yeah. So, from, my takeaway as a venture capitalist is, yes, I have to do my best at understanding my biases. I have to build in mechanisms for eliminating those biases. And that I think, I have to, even after the fact, take into consideration the fact that there still might be biases in the decision. All difficult things.